Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been in the news again, and a lot has been going through the media. And this is very interesting. So many people have been asking me, well, what do you see in their charts in terms of the recent events where they went on the Oprah Winfrey show? And we're pretty much talking about some of the comments that somebody in the family had made concerning how dark or light the skin was of Meghan's baby. So this made the news big time, especially with all of the media focus around prejudice, around racism. It's all over the news, every turn you see. So what is it in their charts that I see that could be at the root and the bottom of this? So let's put up both charts, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, right here. So let's see what we see in their charts. And really what I see being triggered is with the transiting planets. So this is their birth charts. But what I want to point out is where the planets are in the heavens right now and how they're affecting their chart, because I see a lot going on. And their charts, they're definitely attracted to each other, but it's a difficult combo. I've said that in a previous chart reading that I gave on my YouTube. You can look it up. It's search Prince Harry, and you'll see that when they got married, I did an analysis. So we're not going to go over that, but we are going to go over the current events looking at both their charts. Because looking at Prince Harry, I mean, he has such an interesting chart that's so telling about his life. If you look at his chart right here, he has Sagittarius ascendant. But look what's in his 12th house. He has some deep, dark secrets that haunt him. That's the 12th house. It deals with hidden enemies. So what you see is he feels, and there are dark forces that he feels like surround him. Maybe that's why he felt the need to leave England and move to another country. And I often think the reason why he married someone so different than the royalty that he was born into is his way to get back at the royal family, because deep, deep down, there's always this question of how his mother was treated. He has to have these deep feelings from the past. And remember, the 12th house is the past. And he has Mars, Uranus, and Ketu. That's actually pretty treacherous. And it can represent that he wakes up during the night, can't sleep from nightmares. The 12th house deals with sleep and dreams. Those are really malefic planets coming together. And I know he has something deep down that is controlling his mind in some way. And maybe he's blocked it out, but it's there. You can see it in the chart. And Mars being in Scorpio is profound. And really, when you look at his chart too, he has Saturn opposing the moon, which can represent his mother's depression. But let's talk about right now. What's going on with this? Why would they go on to an interview with Oprah Winfrey, make this world news, when I thought they moved to America to escape the media? Very interesting. Is it somehow to get back at someone, and this is what they feel like they can do? Regardless, we can all try to figure out why they did it. But they did want to expose racism And Meghan wanted to expose how she's being treated. Well, Diana was treated the same way. As they become popular and the media looks to them, they use it for whatever advantage they can to get across their message of what they believe in. So looking at Prince Harry's chart, I know that Rahu and Ketu are in Scorpio and Taurus. Ketu being in Scorpio, as a matter of fact, around this time of the interview, transiting Ketu was almost exactly on his Mars. Consider that. Actually, if you want to consider this, Mars actually rules Aries and Scorpio. So Mars rules the 5th house and the 12th house. And this was about his child. Ruler of the 5th, Mars in the 12th. Secrets, but Ketu's crossing over it. That's intense. That means really pretty much there's all sorts of enemies that he fears at this time, whether they're real or not. And another thing that I know is going on here is when I look at the transit of Mars. At the time of when this all came about, transiting Mars was in Taurus, activating the natal Mars and the natal Rahu and Ketu. This is all up in the air. This is huge. Mars and Rahu Ketu, transiting Mars and transiting Rahu, are in his 6th house of enemies and fighting and contention. And Mars Rahu is coming on top of his natal Rahu in the 6th house. This is not easy for him at all. He put himself in a position that will bring about some major fights and enemies within his family. And, you know, all of us have had to deal at some point with family members that say things that are not so good. And putting that out there was very brazen. Let me put it that way, very brazen. And I know he's getting, by looking at his chart, some major repercussions because of it. He just is. No matter how much he's in the right, you know he's not being received well by his family. Let me just put it that way. So that's what I'm seeing with transiting Mars crossing over his natal Mars while transiting Ketu sits on it. Yeah, this is tough. And remember this, by April 13th, transiting Mars is going to go into Gemini, which will be where? In his 7th house of marriage and relationships. So there's going to be some war in paradise. Let me put it that way. Because the 7th house is marriage. And when you put Mars in the 7th house, there can be a lot of contention and fighting, or just simply disagreements with your partner. That's simply the way it is. So now I thought I might show you what Meghan might be going through this ordeal. And she's going through a lot, let me tell you. So she feels personally attacked, and, you know, she's using her media status to expose where she's hurt. For good or bad, that's what she's doing, okay? So when I looked at her chart and going to Meghan's chart, you can see that she has Cancer as her ascendant. And look at all the planets in the 1st house. Even Rahu being on her ascendant gives her a sense of destiny And K2 is in her 7th house. That's her marriage partner. But what's transiting almost on top of K2 in the 7th, but exactly aspecting her Sun and Mercury in the 1st? Saturn. Saturn during this time was right opposed her Sun in the 1st house. I guarantee you she's not feeling too good about this whole ordeal, no matter what. No matter what anyone out there really thinks, she is paying a price, because Saturn's full aspect to the Sun really represents being depressed, downtrodden, heavy. It's difficult, exhausted. And don't forget, when Saturn aspects Mercury, Mercury is the planet of communications, the mind, and how we think. And Saturn opposing that, what do you think that means? It means she feels like nobody's listening to her. Nobody hears her. Because Mercury is that communication, and Saturn is aspecting it. But Saturn is in her 7th house. Now, Jupiter's been there. So Jupiter-Saturn's been very nice as they transit the 7th house. It means partnerships are empowered. Yes. But let me just say, when Jupiter leaves Capricorn and goes to the 8th house, Saturn's left behind in her 7th house of marriage, and there's going to be a lot of stress coming up here for Meghan with Saturn all by itself for another year in her marriage house. Saturn's a sense of responsibility, and I don't know how the sense of responsibility is going to be bestowed on her, but she's going to go through a lot. Their marriage is going to be put under the microscope. If it hadn't already, of course it will be. But there's going to be problems in paradise with Saturn transiting her 7th house by itself, aspecting her Sun and her Mercury. And it already crossed over K2 in the 7th house. This is tough. And let me just say, in the month of April, in the second part of April and on into April and May, while Mars is in Gemini, it's going to be in her 12th house. And so all sorts of hidden agendas and things will come out from people that she didn't ever know about, because the 12th house is hidden enemies. So she's going to have Mars conjunct Mars. And I also noticed that during this time, around the second part of April through parts of May, for about a month, when Mercury goes into Aries and Mars is in Gemini, their mutual exchange will bring all sorts of attention about this media event that they just did, because Mercury will be transiting, when it's in Aries, her 10th house. So she's going to have to come up and speak for herself some more. And this time, I don't think the media's on her side because of the 12th house. Or maybe it's somebody that's paying off the media. I don't know how all that works. All I know, it's pretty corrupt. So maybe I'm getting confirmation from my dog barking just then. So, but I see a lot that they're going to have to contend with. Their marriage is going to be put to the test over this year. Wait and see. So that's my little take on what's been going on right now for both Meghan and Harry. And remember, if you want to learn more about me or you want to study Vedic astrology, you can go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you want to sign up for my university website is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.